Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
This is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Westboro, Carm Amlaw. And Karen is the founder and owner of Carm Amlaw Music. And I had read about Karen in the Community Advocate, another popular newspaper around here, Carm Amlaw Music. And I thought, this sounds really terrific what you're doing. Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
Well, are you from this area originally?
Actually, I'm originally from Worcester.
Yeah.
Grew up there and then went to college at the University of Rochester in the Eastman School of Music and ended up staying there for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting. I was in the restaurant industry paying my way through college. My parents didn't make any contributions to my college. Apparently, women aren't supposed to do that. I come from a very blue-collar family, and they still don't get it that I'm a businesswoman, but there it is. But I believed initially all of the people who said, you're going to start as a musician, don't make that your career.
Yeah.
I stayed in the restaurant industry. I was an award-winning restaurant manager.
Do you cook?
I don't have time anymore, but yes, I do. But came around in 9/11, and a lot of the business models started to change, and went to my supervisor and said, I want something, other than this. I don't hate my job, but I want to do, a hobby somewhere during the week. And she said, well, we all know that you sing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose I do pick up the karaoke things at the company outings or whatever, but gosh, I haven't sung in public in 15 years.
Yeah.
And she said, well, why don't you go to your church and go sing?
Yeah.
So I went back thinking it was, this was going to be a hobby.
Yeah.
I was going to go back and I was going to sing. But then a month later, can you be the soloist in the Mass? Can you do this? Can you do that? No, I'll try.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, there's more to this. The candle was relit. And I, just kind of went
That's
back and started to get to know every community chorus person there was in the area, so that, there were some new people. There were some other people that were still out there from when I was in high school and I'd sung. And, well, now I was off to, I left my rest. I literally hung up the phone, which I've never done in my life. And I thought, did I just quit my job?
You did.
I think I just did.
Yeah.
Well, I have enough money. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go back to taking lessons, and I'm going to go back to teaching, and let's see where this goes.
And when did you found Carm Amlaw Music?
Well, it kind of started as me initially being a traveling musician. I had kind of like a little kids show.
Yeah.
I had puppets in my trunk, and I would go to places like the Y and so on and so forth. And it was Carm Amlaw and friends, and the friends were the puppets. And I would end up teaching, being the traveling music teacher for the Y or for some of the school systems, with their after-school programs and things like that. And eventually, oddly enough, Robinson Music, which was in Westboro at the time, they were looking for a secretary. They needed 9 to 2. And I thought, this is perfect. I can perform at night. It's not going to pay me anywhere as near what an award-winning restaurant manager who was about to be a supervisor is going to get. But I don't care. I want that position that's going to give me that little bit of money while I, continue on with my music.
Sure.
And I thought, well, this is a music store with studios, and my initial thought was, well, people will call up looking for like the wedding singer or the what have you.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to say, well, I don't have to give you to the school voice teacher because guess what? I can help you. But lo and behold, a few months later, the group piano teacher moved on, and there was this niche. And, they're all independent contractors there. You rent the space, and you do what you want with it. And it went from, so here's my handful of students that can now, be here, to, oh my gosh, I basically have 100 students personally in this little room in the back.
Yeah.
And we were on Google independently. We were, and if I didn't have a spot, I went to one of my colleagues and said, oh, you know what, can you help this student out? I can't at the moment, but they've applied to me. I had my own website.
Yeah.
The most of the students that came, although some of them might have called up
And this is
Robinson Music.
evolving as you're going along.
Correct.
And then you're getting the idea that pretty soon that you're going to have your own place. Right?
That I need my own space. I mean, it's my own space in that it was that room in the back that everybody knew where I was. I had the big room, and they must have had about, 320 or so students total that came and took lessons from people that were renting space there. But of those, almost a third of them were mine.
Is that the same place you're located now?
No.
No.
A year ago, last fall, they sold. And when they sold, it was that point where either I wasn't going to get any bigger because I couldn't. I mean, there were only so many hours in a week and only so many students you can have. And okay, new owners, a national chain. Well, I'll sit down and I'll have the negotiation conversation.
Sure.
But you know what? Maybe, this has been the kind of the box that's been on the shelf. I'd always said I would do it when I wasn't performing anymore, or at least when I wasn't singing anymore. But you know what? Maybe this was the time to go do it. And literally that night I had a rehearsal.
Yep.
And on my way home from the rehearsal, as I was driving back, I was looking for the space available signs.
Yeah.
And I must have written down a handful of them. And I got home the next day. There I am on the phone, calling. And lo and behold, Downtown Crossing, which is on
57 East Main.
57 East Main Street, exactly.
Downtown Crossing in Westboro, 57 East Main. Is that anywhere near Tatnuck? No.
Close. Tatnuck is on Lyman.
Yeah.
If you make that turn from Lyman onto Main Street,
Yes.
Across the street from our plaza is the Santander Bank and the CVS.
Oh, I know CVS very well. Yeah.
And you probably might have noticed, because they're a big chunk of what's in that plaza, there's Ebridge Montessori School in there.
There's a dentist in there.
Correct. There are a couple in there.
Oh, you're in that big. We've had more guests on here from. Okay, so they're in that big brick building across from CVS.
It's not. Well, it's not quite brick, but it's, believe it or not, it's 2 levels in there.
Yeah. Is it like a big lobby and then an elevator? Am I
There is. What you see mostly is there's the bistro on one end,
Yeah.
and Ebridge Montessori is on the other end.
Yeah.
We also have rhythm dance in there.
Yep.
Like you said, there are a couple of orthodontists in there.
And there's an upstairs.
There is an upstairs, and
Yeah.
very good for you for knowing there's an upstairs, because we are upstairs.
Okay, because I have been up the stair. I will not get in that elevator. It's too for me.
It's not very big, it's true, but it will fit a baby grand. That's how we got
Are you
it up there.
serious? It fits a baby grand?
It will. Well, because what most people don't realize with a baby grand, you see the baby grand, this way.
Yeah,
But when you move a baby grand,
yeah.
the legs come off. They just kind of slide on, kind of like dovetailed.
Yeah.
And there's one little bolt in there that holds each of those
And then you can put
3
it up
legs.
this way, put it
So
up.
now you turn it up this way.
And you got it in.
And if you've got a 5.5-foot baby grand, it's no taller than you or I.
So this is not far. Where you're located is not far. If you know where CVS is in Westboro, East Main Street. I know that where I go, UMass is down the street.
Sure.
We've got branches down there. Now, we've got some, before we forget, some great pictures that you brought. Show it, Paul. Can you zero in? You brought a collage. Now, what were some of the pictures on the collage that were happening there?
Well, if I start at the top there's that young lady sitting there at a keyboard. One of the programs that we have, we go as young as age 4. And, it's like 4 to 400.
Up to adult.
Yeah, up to adult, that's right. We don't define that adult. That adult could be 200 years old.
I say keyboard.
So our main recital space seats about 30 people. And that's kind of what you see in that second picture underneath of her.
Yep. Recital.
And we also do our group classes in there. So we have a Kids on Keys group class that's ages 4 to 8. They're kind of grouped by what level they're at, and also what age level they're on. And there are 4 keyboards in there. So there's 3 to 5 kids. I can put a 5th keyboard in there if we have 5.
And there's your sign right in the middle.
Yep, that is the road sign. Although there are a couple more businesses on there since we.
Now, is
took
that you
photo.
with a protege right underneath you?
That is me after a recital. Very frequently after the recitals, they, all want to come up, and I call it the Easter Bunny line, because they all have to get their picture with Miss Karen or Maestro Stan or whoever. their teacher is, and that is one of
This
mine.
is great too, Paul, if you can zero in on these. Now, you brought some, show us some of the ones that you brought. Well, you'll see them on the bulletin board downstairs. But,
Yeah, and this is, actually, I might put this one down there. This is our pretty much our winter
Hold up a little, hon. Right, there you go.
flyer. Kind of defines what all our instruments are, because we are not just piano and voice. We do have bass guitar, we have piano, ukulele, violin, and voice. So we have a number of students who even do more than one instrument, and because I'm there almost every day of the week,
Sure.
a lot of our students are able to work out a back-to-back kind of situation.
Who are the now, pictures beside you? Show us some of those. Are those instructors?
These are our
Hold that. Bring that over.
our
and hold
other
that up so
instructors. You want me
people
to?
can see.
Will
We'll
that-
give a promo out to the instructors.
Yeah. So this is one of my voice teachers, Leslie Liebberg, and she also does, in addition to private lessons, a group class for kids that's second grade through fifth grade.
Wow.
So it's an intro to singing. You don't want to do quite voice technique at that age, but you certainly can, start to talk about, presentation a little bit, and work on some folk songs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of fun in there, and then a lot of them, go from there to
So you
working
have
their way.
4 other instructors except besides
Correct.
yourself.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Stan Scherzer. Stan is there Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the moment, and pretty much he's almost there 3 to 9 like I am.
Which way would you want to? That's good. Okay.
Okay. And this is Adelio, and Adelio's an interesting gentleman because he actually has not just violin, but he also does guitar, ukulele. He can do mandolin.
Ukulele
Any of those.
is big right now.
Yes.
I've been to a senior center. We were filming out there. I forgot where we went. Wow, they had a room full of them, and it was
Yeah.
pretty easy for them to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They loved it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ever since that young lady was on, what was that, America's Got Talent or whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
With her little ukulele, everybody seems to need to
Yeah.
know how to play.
I know when I was a little girl, I think for a little while it was I don't know why it was, and then it just died out.
It's interesting. It's like one of those things that,
Yeah.
there has to be something out there in
Sure.
the popular culture or something that says,
Okay.
oh, so-and-so plays that. Guess what?
Karen,
I'm
what's
gonna
the other
try
one
that.
you got there?
This is our last instructor because we ran out of room.
Your one is hard.
This is our other voice instructor, Mark
Okay.
DeMille.
Can you see him? Can you got that, Paul?
And this little thing over here that's on the end here, hula frog. I don't know if you're familiar
You know, I
with
was
that.
going to ask you what the heck hula frog is.
What is that?
Hula
Because if you
frog.
don't have a child, you
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, I have a kid, but he's grown.
Well, we need a little one. It's actually a website that's kind of local places for kids to go. And you can put your business on there, so that people know
Which side?
this way.
Okay.
People know that you're, you have music classes, and you can put your events and things on there. And so parents can go on there. And there are several kind of like patches throughout the whole country.
Right.
So our area one is, Shrewsbury, Marlboro, Metro West kind of thing. But like the TNG does their Best of Awards,
Yeah.
they do an annual Most Love Award
That's what. Okay.
for each of their categories.
And this fellow, okay, so he's part of where you.
He's part of us, yes.
He's part.
This actually, if you were to come to CAM, you would see these two
got that.
frames right in our storefront, so you would be able to see exactly what they are.
We're talking with Karen Amlaw, and she is the founder and owner of Karen Amlaw Music over in Westboro. Now, Karen, first of all, tell everybody how they can reach you.
Well, there are a number of ways. You can go online, and I usually say just Google us. It's Karen, Karen, Amlaw, Amlaw, and music. That's the easiest way. You can actually type it all in, I suppose, but it would literally be www.karenamlaw.com/Karen Amlaw Music. You see why I say Google it?
Yeah.
One of these days I'm going to actually put a link on there that's just something much shorter, but I haven't gotten creative enough to do it. Or you can give us a call, 508-366-6000. It's a phone number you cannot forget.
No.
You can find us on Facebook as well. Again, we're Karen Amlaw Music on there as well. And there you can actually find videos that we've posted from recitals. You can find some of the events that we do. Speaking of events, in addition to the couple of recitals that we do something for the community.
What's that one? That's coming up, right?
It is. Well, this is, we do one every month, but this is, I don't know how much you're going to
I
be
don't know
able
if
to
you can
see
zero in on
this.
that.
But starting this fall, we started something called community showcases. So if you're one of those people who's the sofa guitarist, that you play in your living room and that's about it, and you've always thought, oh gosh, I want to do an open mic, but they're so big and I don't know if I'd know what to do with a mic, and gosh, I don't know if I want to do it. These are not just our students. You can be any musician in the area. All you have to do is email me, karen.amlaw.music@aol.com, and tell us that you want to play on that particular showcase. And as long as I don't have more people than will fit in the room,
Yeah.
you certainly may. And in fact, if we were to ever have that problem, it hasn't happened yet, but like I said, we just started that in the fall.
Is this the grand piano you got
That
upstairs?
is our baby grand.
There you go.
Yes.
Show that to me.
This is, it looks so little in this picture, but this is a 5.5 foot. It's an Iverson Pond 1928 instrument that's been fully rebuilt. Most people that sit down and they play it, they ask me, or basically comment.
That went up the elevator on its side with no
It
legs.
did. Correct. It would just go up like this.
Karen, tell us now from ages 4 to adult, so people can learn more about it. All the different classes that you have.
Sure. Well, like I said, the 4-year-olds, they're usually in our group Kids on Keys class. And then we have the group from 2nd to 5th grade for the singers. We don't quite have like a group ukulele or a guitar, but the space that he does use, we have 3 studios. We have the one that's the recital hall, and you can see it. This is kind of a little bit bigger version of the one that's over there.
Yeah, recital.
But we have 2 other studios, and in a lot of schools, you say, "Oh gosh, the studios are like little shoe boxes," and
Yeah, I know. I've seen.
you're like, "Where are we going to put the people after we put the piano in there? There's no room." But we don't actually have that problem. When I was out looking at spaces and trying to decide what we were going to have, one of the things that I was sure I wanted to do was we were going to have quality instruments. They weren't going to be the instruments that, somebody donated. Don't get me wrong, there could be a donated instrument that's a really quality instrument, but a lot of times the piano that's just being given away, it's free for a reason. And there's 1,000 things, you got to fix on it. And a lot of my kids have keyboards and things at home. I wanted them to be playing on the real thing that was a quality instrument to begin with. So literally within our 3 spaces, that Iverson Pond is essentially the instrument that was in Mechanics Hall on their main stage before the 70s when they redid the hall.
Yeah.
But it's been rebuilt, and most people who play it, their immediately response is, if they've played a Steinway, this plays like a Steinway. Holy cow, where did you get this? And speaking of Steinway, in our middle-sized studio, this is actually an upright Steinway.
Yeah. Can you see that? Yeah.
And you can kind of see, this room isn't so little either.
No.
So
You have some other things in there, right? You've got.
Well, all of our studios have a mirror of some sense.
Yeah.
My 2 smaller studios have these lovely glass mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
The one that's in the main recital hall, I don't think, no, you can't see it in those pictures. It's actually a 3-way mirror that has this gorgeous frame on it. So it kind of goes with the decor of the,
Boy,
of the
things have
recital hall.
changed. When I took piano lessons back as a kid, I would meet at her home in Springfield, Mass. I think. And then I don't know where the recitals were, but I remember we used to go to her house, and I did pretty well on piano.
Sure.
And the recitals. But it's different now. I mean, I guess you probably still.
Well, you don't find this everywhere.
No, this is very, very.
I've had a lot of people start somewhere else and
come
discover
here.
us
Yeah.
and say to me, "Holy cow, why didn't I come here first?"
So you founded this, and was it what year was it again?
05.
So you've been here for, gosh, been quite a while, 12 years.
12 years.
Does it seem that long?
No.
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 Now, have you got any things coming in the future as far as you're going to add anything else, or what?
Well, it's
Not that
interesting.
you need to.
No. Oh, trust me. I mean, I still go down to New York and sing.
Yeah.
And, I was just there on Monday, in fact. Well, the bomber was in the subway system. And in fact...
Did you drive down or did you fly down?
Fortunately, I drove. I wasn't in the subway system. And I didn't know about it until I got home.
Yeah.
And then, a few of my friends on Facebook were posting a "I'm safe" kind of post, and I said, "Safe from what? I was just there. What did I miss?"
Yeah.
You're
a little busy.
Yeah, I just didn't happen to be on 42nd Street. So, but what did you just ask me? I lost it. Sorry.
So you flew. You drove.
Being busy.
Yeah.
So, I am the master juggler, and everything forwards to myself.
Yeah.
So, do I answer new student calls from New York?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we were to get much bigger, yes, I would have to, hire somebody to be up front to field that, because, we're on the edge of that at the moment of okay, I fielded that, and wait, I did that, and wait, okay, wait a minute, did I get all these? Yes, I did.
Do
Okay.
the students come from all over this area?
They do. In the winter, sometimes I don't get the more distant ones, just because, snow slows you down, and who knows, but I do have students all the way as far as Millbury.
Oh, that's pretty close. That's good. Yeah.
Well,
hop on Route 20 and you're...
It is. They usually come later,
Yeah.
They tend to be the older students. I have students from Boylston.
What's your oldest student, adult?
Gosh, you know what? I don't ask them their birth date when they're adults, but we do have a student who sings with Assabet Valley Master Singers,
Yeah.
and he's, not one of the younger members.
Senior?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
And he was just... I don't know if you're familiar with the Worcester Schubert Diad.
Oh, yeah. Is that what I just saw on this? It's a funny name. I couldn't pronounce it. It's Schubert. Well, how do you say that now?
Schubert Diad.
Yeah, I've got it right. Worcester Schubert.
Yes.
Annual classical idol competition.
Yeah, it's an annual young artist competition, and they do everything from high school through college. And this year was the first year that their first round, or top prize, received cash award. So we actually sponsor the cash award for voice and piano at the moment. And next year we might do all three. I don't know. We have to think about it,
Kara, do you do primarily singing? Do you teach them the singing? Or what do you do?
Actually, most of my students are piano.
I would have gone to you then when I was a kid.
See, there you go. I do.
Where were you?
I have a couple of violin students, because my original principal instrument was actually violin.
Yeah. That's not that easy to learn, I don't think. Guitar, I had guitar lessons. That wasn't hard. But piano, I think, was harder than guitar for me. A little bit harder.
It would be interesting for you if you were taking them at the same time, just because your finger numbers are different.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was like I was a teenager I had to be cool with the guitar.
Sure.
When I was a elementary, middle school kid, I was on piano. But I lost interest in it. I think I didn't want to have to sit down and
practice?
I felt the music, but
sure.
I lost interest in practicing.
It got hard enough that you actually had to really, really compartmentalize, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh. Yeah. And that it
happens. Were you musical as a kid? I bet you were.
I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't primarily a singer when I was a kid, although I did sing, because I happened to have a very big instrument. And I came from a household where, if that were the case, you were told to take it outside or save it for the concert hall.
Really?
And so, when I was in high school, I actually had someone anonymously donate money to our church music fund, specifically earmarked for me to take voice lessons wherever I wanted. Mm-hmm. And my poor voice teacher, when I was in high school, because, we would be working on pieces that were appropriate to my instrument, but I couldn't practice them full-voiced because,
right.
That was too loud. I was going to break the china. I said, Mom, we don't have china.
How many kids in your family were you?
2.
Were you the baby? Or
Nope.
You were the oldest?
Nope, I'm the oldest.
And they said, no practicing in the house.
Well, they didn't say no practicing, but they would say, can't you do that quieter?
Oh, you can't.
And the problem is...
It's like drums.
That if you have a bigger instrument and you practice quieter, you just learn to sing off your air.
Yeah.
So I was a violinist. My mother was more of a, soft rock, country western listener. And when she said I could play violin, she thought I was going to play violin like, fiddle like Porter Wagner. Oh. And when I brought home Bach and Mozart and Beethoven, she was a little confused. She didn't know who those were.
Yeah. How about your dad? Was he musical?
My dad came from a house where his 2 sisters had taken piano lessons. They had an upright in the house.
This is in the family, obviously.
But he didn't play.
Yeah.
And I never understood why that was. Apparently the guy it wasn't cool to take piano lessons, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he definitely had an appreciation for
Yeah,
music.
sure.
And he was the one that when I went to college, when I went off and, as I said earlier, I come from a blue-collar family.
Yeah.
And the concept of me going to college, well, women don't go to college in blue-collar families. My mother was still thinking that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I literally had to have my guidance counselors help pay the fees for me to fill out my college applications
Yeah.
because they were saying I wasn't going to go unless I paid for it.
Sure.
And I was able to find enough scholarships and things that basically paid my tuition. And then,
Yeah.
I had my restaurant job that paid my
Yeah.
way for the rest of it.
That's amazing. I gotta say, the kids who pay their way through, like yourself, hats off to you. Really, I don't know how my dad did it, but I was the only chicken going. I was like the only youngest there.
Sure.
Yeah. So I didn't realize. I thought when I left after a couple of years, I was doing him a favor. Like, I'm not interested anymore. You don't have to worry about paying. No, he had the exact opposite reaction.
He wanted you to go.
What? So when
Oh,
I got
believe
back,
me.
he was not happy. I thought I was saving him a buck.
My father, and this is when I found out who the person was that really believed in at least the musical part of my life.
Yeah.
Eastman called our house and to confirm my audition time,
Yeah.
and I didn't happen to be home. And when I came home, my mother said, this place called Eastman called, and to her, Eastman wasn't one of the top music schools in the country. It was just this place.
Yeah.
And they wanted to confirm this audition, but we told you weren't going there, so why are they calling? And I said, well, Ma, I decided that I'll be 18 by the time that audition rolls around, and you know what?
I guess I'm going.
I'm going.
Yeah.
And for once, you're not going to say I'm not going. I'm going to go get it.
What'd she say?
Oh, we had chaos in the house.
I'll bet you did.
And, well, how are you going to get there? I said, well, I don't know. They have these things called trains and planes and buses.
Oh.
And I was very fortunate, actually. My grandfather was a very smart man.
And he helped you along.
He unfortunately died when he was in his 60s.
Well, that's awfully young.
But back then, being a businessman and owning something like a potato chip company wasn't like today's Frito-Lay. It was, much different.
Yeah.
But he did. And he was smart enough to know that people would probably fight about certain assets and things.
Sure.
So he had his entire estate sold off. And then in his will, it was this percentage of that money went to each of his children and each of his grandchildren.
So he could help.
So I had a grant of a few $1,000s that I knew when I turned 18
you get.
was mine.
Yeah.
And so I worked it out so it was at least a week after there, so I'd have time to do the paperwork.
Lucky
And if
girl.
they weren't going to help me, I was going to the bank to get that grant, and I was going to use part of it to take myself to upstate New York.
Karen, we've got about 2 minutes
Sure.
left. Again, how can people reach you?
We can be reached by phone, 508-366-6000, or if you Google us online at Karen Amlaw Music, you will find us there. We're also on our Facebook page, Karen Amlaw Music, there as well.
I want to make sure before Karen has a beautiful clef. Show us a pin that you have on.
Oh, is it
Oh,
hiding?
can you focus on this beautiful pin? And it states what she loves, the music. I don't. With being.
Where is it?
Okay.
Is it hidden?
Put your hand here. Put your hand here.
Go like this?
Okay.
Is that-
Cover
is
up
that
there.
good?
And zero in on the pin, not her. The pin. She's
Just
a
the
beautiful lady, but let's keep this. This is a family show. I am so proud of you. Your parents had to have known that, my God, we have got a major talent going on here. We didn't even know it. Or we didn't listen to her enough.
Well, I
They
think they
know
just
now.
didn't have a concept that
Yeah.
there were so many different levels of music. To them, music was just
Are
music.
they still here? With
My dad is gone. My mother is still here, but my dad actually, when I went to college, finally went to his boss and said, "I'm sick of listening to all of this. I'm going to take you." And what I didn't know is we never discussed what instrument I was auditioning on. And when I walked out of my violin audition and said, "Okay, Dad, we've done everything we need to do today. What else should we do today?"
That was it.
He said, "Aren't you going to sing for them?" And I will never forget that, because he obviously thought I was going there as a singer.
We've been talking with Karen Amlaw, and she's the owner and founder of Karen Amlaw Music over in Westboro. If you or your children are very interested in all kinds of music lessons, get in touch with them because she's got a really nice setup there, easy to get to. I think it's great. Where were you when I was a kid?
We have a big parking lot.
Yeah, tell me about it.
There must be 200 spaces out there. We have kids that have won young artist competitions.
Yeah.
We just have, they just did the district auditions, and two of our singers not only got in, one of them's a freshman and got into districts,
Yep.
which is unusual, and both of them got all-state recs. So we're waiting to see.
Contact Karen if you would like to. Will they reach you automatically, Karen?
If you call and it picks up as the voicemail, it will be me that will answer back first.
There you go.
If you go online and you go to our lessons page on our website, you can pre-register, which does nothing but give us your contact information, and then I'll put you in touch with the teacher that matches up with whatever instrument you're looking for.
Also, if you're near the Upton Library, even if you're out of town, out of state, she's going to be putting up a couple little advertisements over down there, so we'll be sure to check that out. Karen, thanks again for being with us.
Great, thank
Should
you
have
so
her
much.
back on again. She's an enthusiastic boy. We need that with the music crowd. That's wonderful. We'll see you next time and be my guest.